It's always a tough situation. There are obviously a few expletives and kind of standing around trying to figure out what to do. I think the interesting part was that kind of within about 10-15 minutes, I think everyone had kind of gone through maybe their down spell. We were down below, and the guys got talking, and suddenly there was a plan to come into action, and the repairs happened straight away. So there's always a sudden shift between kind of, I guess, a slight bit of despair to how do we fix it, and we've got to fix it to get out of here.
Well, the current situation that we can inform you right now, the crew are safe, and in fact, as you'll be hearing in just a few moments from Simeon Team Point, the skipper, a repair is already underway. But before we bring you that, let's catch up with the race and see what's happening out there with the rest of the teams in this Volvo Ocean race. We are a third of the way on leg 3 from Cape Town to Melbourne, and as the race experts predicted, it's all about jibing close to the ice skate. Dongfeng race team in the lead, just ahead of the Spanish boat Mafre, with Vestas 11th Hour Racing holding on to third spot. Team Brunel a long way off the podium for now, and it's Sun Hung Kai Scallywag and Turn the Tide on Plastic lining up yet again for an incredibly tight battle, neck and neck, and the Dutch team, Axel Nobel, well, happened to watch the rest of the fleet sail past. Well, it's been a very tough last 24 hours for Team Axel Nobel. That jibe really knocking them on the back foot, but the crew have rallied and got themselves into a manageable position where repairs can start to get underway. So let's hear from the skipper, Simeon Team Point, about the current situation.
The boat itself is all good. Everyone's been working pretty hard for the last 1.5 days just to get the stuff fixed. Yesterday was still a little bit hard because it was still blowing 35 to 40 knots, and we had some massive seaway. And today was a bit warmer, 10 degrees warmer, and so yeah, it gave us an opportunity to start fixing stuff and get a track back onto the mast. And that's curing now and repairing the sail, and you see it here down on the deck. Of course, it's yeah, far from ideal situation. You know, if there's one thing we said to each other is that we have to go into Melbourne in one piece, and everyone is of course pretty stressed because yeah, you want to make it in time for the next leg. And but yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we had a bad jibe, and unfortunate enough that the track comes off, but everyone is yeah, is dealing with it in full fighting mode, and there's not much else you can do. But yeah, we're keeping each other, giving each other enough rest, and helping each other out, and that's great to see. So hopefully, yeah, it will all hold, and we'll be back up to full speed, or at least better speed than in the last 24 hours.
What's your guess as to how long it will take you to get the boat in a working shape?
Yeah, probably the rest of the day today, and we were thinking maybe tonight or otherwise tomorrow morning. And it's a little bit warmer now because we're north, and we jibed this morning to come south again, and still sort of hang on with the better breeze. And so now everything is done. Most of it has to dry, and it has to settle in. So it's a bit frustrating looking at glue dry, but that's how it is. And I hope we are back on tomorrow morning the best. Yeah.
It must be so nice for you as skipper to see the whole crew pitching in and just helping out where the help is needed.
No, absolutely. I mean, everyone's doing a fantastic job on board. We all know how frustrating it is, but yeah, you know, you just want to get there, and that's the good thing of being out here as well. You're sort of forced to do it together and make the best out of it with the tools and the spares and the stuff you have on board. So it's a bit of MacGyver work with the 9 of us, and so hopefully it will work out, and we look back at it in Melbourne with a good feeling.
Simeon, thank you so much for taking the time out of what must be a very stressful moment. Great to see that the crew and the boat are not in too bad shape. Fingers crossed you get yourself up to full pace very soon.
Thanks, mate.
Well, good to see Team Axel Nobel making some quick recovery, and great to hear that repairs are underway. And it's not just tough for them. In fact, out in the front of the fleet at the moment with Dongfeng Race Team and Mafre, we'll take a look at this. This is some of the images that have been coming in from the Spanish boat Mafre. Rob Greenhouse on the helm of the boat, and the size of the water going across, just taking him straight off from the wheel. Very impressive to see that the boat doesn't flip completely out of control, and very impressive to see that they managed to hang on through the next few moments as further onslaughts coming washing straight down the deck. And these are the conditions that we have seen endlessly played out, and there is still more to come. One person that knows just what life is like is Steve Hales. He's been navigator for Sun Hun Kai Scallywag for legs 1 and 2, and we spoke to him just a few moments ago about what life is like on board, what the strategy is going to pay in this race, and why the crew change.
Yeah, it was a very tough decision. I love this race. You know, I've been away for a few years, but you know, it was technically my 6th race, and I came back, you know, hugely motivated to come and enjoy the race. And yeah, it was a tough decision. Some of those, you know, points as to why they happen will remain kind of private, but you know, a combination of things, as these always are. And yeah, I mean, I'm heartbroken, honestly, not to be out there. I mean, it's cold and wet, and there's 10-metre seas, and it's blowing 50 knots, and you know, I'm sat at home actually really enjoying watching the race. It's a fantastic thing to sort of, you know, with obviously reasonably expert knowledge, to be able to sit and assess it every day. I'm excited by the position reports, as I hope everyone else is. But you know, I haven't ruled out, you know, further involvement at some stage. But yeah, for now, not on the boat. We left on good accord and helped the boat as much as we could. And you know, I'm pleased that they're hanging in there in what has been a very tough leg.
Is there much strategy to go over the next couple of days? You
know, strategy-wise, we're in relatively windy downwind conditions, but you know, it's very important to recognise the difficulty in jibing these boats. I think it really is the story, honestly. You don't have a huge number of people to do all the jobs. I mean, a jibe in anything more than 25 knots of wind is difficult. If you get into 35 plus, it's honestly, something is going to happen in that jibe. It may only be a broach, it may only be a wipeout, but we've seen it can be worse than that. So I think they're unavoidable. The guys who have really taken it on, especially the leading 2, have decided that they can do it, they can take it on, they can jibe frequently up against the ice exclusion zone. And maybe the others haven't. You know, there's a little bit of a story in, you know, how aggressive are you going to be in terms of putting your boat in the right spot, keeping the distance short, staying south, you know, against these very, very difficult manoeuvres, and genuinely they are. There's a little bit hit and miss. I think Bauer talked yesterday about, you know, a 40-knot jibe. They got a huge sea, massive, you know, downwind speed, and the jibe goes perfectly. And obviously, you know, I think we've all seen the videos from AXO. That's the opposite end, and you don't have any choice on these. The boats sail aggressive angles. We're going to see lots more jibes. I think it could be a big story moving forwards. The breeze will drop a little bit, but yeah, they're difficult manoeuvres, even for these guys and girls. And
one final question. Obviously, Antonio Fontes jumped on board as navigator to fill your shoes. A little bit of an injury to the arm, but you know, going pretty well so far. It's sort of still in the hunt. Has he got a lot to think about in the closing stages of this leg as we're sort of nearing that halfway point?
I think the Australian bight, you know, the southern part of Australia, can be very, very difficult. You can set up a big high pressure in there. At the moment, actually, this leg looks relatively simple, honestly. It is going to be about keeping the boat in one piece, going fast, not missing any major shifts. It doesn't look particularly complex. I mean, I wish Tony all the best in his recovery. I haven't heard today quite how bad the injury is. He didn't look too bad yesterday, but I mean, clearly he's out of the rotation on deck, so they'll need him for sure in, you know, fighting fit as they get near the end of the leg. It's a tough place to get into, Melbourne. It really is a horrendously difficult entrance if it's still windy. You know, we haven't sort of covered that part of the race yet, but having left there a few times and gone back in there, the channel, the entrance, the complexity at the end of the leg after a very, very tough leg is really quite extreme. I mean, it could be you know, very, very difficult to get into and out of Melbourne.
Well, it's not just Steve Hales. Everybody is in agreement that it's all going to be about these jibes next to the ice skates. And we're going to be bringing you the race as it unfolds day by day. Tomorrow, we've got another daily live at 1300 UTC. And we're going to leave the last word of our show to James Blake, the onboard reporter from Team AXO Nobel.
It was quite full on for kind of 24 hours. And now they've kind of gone into a watch system where 2 are on. Kind of 4 guys are fixing stuff and the others are resting. So we've got some guys down below deck at the moment. They've just been sanding down some battens and gluing them together, cutting out bits of the sail. We've had 2 guys up the mast this morning, just gluing on the sail track. And then we've got, at the moment, you can probably see Jules Salter, the navigators, on the helm, guiding us through these rather big waves. it's not often you get to go through these seas at this kind of speed, actually quite slow. So we've actually had time to be able to take it in, and there's probably about 6 or so albatross flying around us at the moment. Lots of the petrels, and got 7-meter waves here that almost look like some kind of mountain environment with the whites blowing off the top of them. So it's it's not a great thing that we are going slowly, but there's a positive side that you can actually really take in this environment.